OGTV is specifically designed to have interactions with our kings in various communities in and around Ogun State and beyond. It is a program designed to share the experiences of our highly revered kings. We want to know how they feel in the palace, where the shoe pinches, how they relate with their communities, the culture and tradition of their various communities. And today, we're in the palace of Olota of Ota. Alailua Oba Professor Abdul Kabir Adeyemi Oba Lanlege Kokeji, Arole Igomode, the Olota of Ota Awori Kingdom. And together in the next couple of minutes, we shall be sharing the experiences of this erudite scholar, because he's a professor before he ascended the throne of Olota of Ota. Join me on the program. My name is Kayode Taiwo, and I would like to respectfully welcome Kabesi Alailua to this program. Kabesi, Kadepelori Kibata Pelese. You are welcome to Royalty, the Royalty on OGTV.
Thank you.
All right, Kabesi, first and foremost, let me start from the fact that you were in the ivory tower before you became a royal king. At what point did you actually decide to aspire to become the king of your community, knowing fully well that you have actually risen to the level of a professor in an academic environment? What was the prompting?
Well, I never knew I would become a king. When the stool of Olota became vacant, so many people within Ota came to me, appealing to me to join the race. But I told them I wasn't interested. Even the elders in the community, they came. I said I wasn't interested. Until late Ba Odu called me to his house. And then myself and Tunde, his son, we are friends. Both of us were in UK. And when Baba said, please, Baba wanted to prostrate. So I stood up and I said, Baba, don't prostrate. Baba said he will give his house to me and I can use it as palace if I don't have one. I said, Baba, no, don't worry. I will join the race. That was how I joined the race. And a lot of people supported me. And today, the rest is history.
Yeah, Kabesi, we thank God for the successful session. It's a well-known fact that among those that contested with you, you had a clean slate of 5 kingmakers, with other opponents not getting anything. It's a very, very rare situation to have all the kingmakers aligning to pick one person in Yoruba land. It's not a very common thing. Is there anything that you feel makes you stand out among the other princes that showed interest?
Really, I don't know, because they are equally qualified. And to be honest, I don't know why. And I wouldn't want to speculate.
Okay, all right. Now, you said something earlier on that one of your friend's father actually called you and all that you are friends in London. That means you've been outside the country for some time, or it's just that you come in and you go out? what was your years before the ascension? Maybe 5 years, 10 years back before you ascend. Were you in the community or you were outside the community?
I will say, I was in and out of the community then. I spent almost 22 years abroad before I came back. Actually, I resigned from University of Lincoln to join Crescent University at Abeokuta. And within that time, while I was with Crescent University, I ventured into politics a bit. Actually, I showed my interest in becoming the senator for Ogun West. And along the line, my uncle came on, Senator Bola Odada. So I had to join him in the campaign, because there is no point contesting with my uncle. So, and he said, he asked me to be his media director for the campaign. So I did, and eventually he won. And later, the issue of Obaship came in, and he was one of my strong supporter. He called me and he said, because some people went to him, they wanted him to contest the stool, and he said no. He said he would prefer me to contest the stool, and he spoke to me, and that was after Baba Odu,
Okay.
compelled me to join the race. And I said, okay, that, I will join the race, because I didn't even make it, public. Because, my belief is that it's not going to happen.
But God made it happen.
Yeah, because my prayer then was that, no. How can I be going in all this, putting on Agbada and stuff like that?
We'll still talk about this Agbada and the rest.
But even when it did happen, I was sleeping. I was at home sleeping, when I just had people banging my gate that they wanted to see me at the local government headquarters for my acceptance speech. And, I wasn't expecting that. I said, just give me a break. Let me have my bath, and, So that was it.
Yeah, yes, Kabisi, we give God glory for the smooth session. And I want to look at this aspect of your life from Ivory Tower to the palace. To me, they look a little bit different from one another. What has your being the king taken away from you as someone who has been in the Ivory Tower? You left a university in the UK, you joined another one here. So it means for a very long time you've been within the academic environment. Now you are now a king. What has this new position taken away?
It has taken a lot away from me, particularly my freedom. Normally, I'm a very free person. I like enjoying life. Actually, some of my friends call me night crawler because I like going to clubs, and I like sitting with my friends, discussing and enjoying ourselves. And In academics, I love attending conferences. Uh, I've not been able to attend conferences, where we discuss academic issues with my colleagues. And again, I don't have my freedom any longer. You see, when I move around, you see security operatives with me. That is not my wish. Initially, when I became Olota and when it was announced, the area commander called me and he told me he was going to deploy 3 armed policemen to my house and, to stay with me. And I told him, no, I don't need policemen. He said, Kabiyesi, it's not possible that we will have to. I said, okay, just send 1. And he said, no, we are sending 3. I said, no, I don't want 3. He said, Kabiyesi, I'm not going to negotiate your security with you. The instruction from above is that we should send 3 down. So since then, I lost my freedom. And then the only way out for me is that when I traveled out, whenever I traveled out, I enjoy myself. I have my freedom with my family, with my friends. But anytime when I'm in the country, I just pray that one day in this country, we'll be able to have a situation where the security challenges will be very low so that people like me can regain their freedom.
You spoke about freedom, and I want to believe that perhaps the same thing happens to all kings, that when they ascend the throne, all eyes are on them, and they have the responsibilities to pretend their communities. Maybe that's why the issue of their security is very important. But let's look at, apart from the issue of losing your freedom now, you have the responsibility of heading a community, one of the biggest communities in Ogun State. Olota, no doubt about it, has everything from the good, the bad, and possibly the other side, because it always comes with a very big city like this. So far, what has been your major challenges as the king of Olota Awori Kingdom?
Well, the main challenges are security and decaying public infrastructures. With security, a big city like Olota, there are so many security challenges in the sense that there are so many people living in Olota. And when you look at it, people will still be moving around even at 1 a.m. If you go to Sango at 2 a.m. and you see people walking in Victoria Island, living in Olota, and they want to go back to work by 4 a.m. So Olota never sleeps. That's the way I would put it. And with that comes with that security challenge. So you find out that 24 hours armed men are always on our streets, patrolling. And with that, we have issues ranging from our security agents harassing citizens and citizens misbehaving. All these are the things I deal with every day. You know, sometimes if people are not happy with the way police handle their issues, they will come to the palace. Some will put a call through to me, and all these things I have to attend to them. And again, when you look at the infrastructures we have presently, because of the population, it is no longer, they are no longer enough for public use, especially when you look at our roads. They are really in bad shape. But I want to thank His Excellency, Governor Dapo Abiodun MFR, for looking into our case. He's working on it. He's on it. He had spoken to the minister, and then the minister is also doing something about it. I had contacted the minister earlier. I spoke to him twice, but he made me aware that they don't have a fund to repair our roads. But with the intervention of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Ogun State, I think things are getting better. I hope they will be able to sort it out, because people are suffering. And these are the two major challenges we have in Olota and its environs.
I would like to ask you, in the area of culture and tradition of the Awori people of Olota. But let me start from the chieftaincy. Now, in some communities, they have those ones that they call the kingmakers. They also have other chiefs who are also traditional chiefs that might not necessarily be kingmakers and all of that. What is the structure of chieftaincy in Olota, as it were?
Here in Olota, we have some kingmakers, or let's say we have some chiefs, traditional chiefs that are kingmakers.
Okay.
But not all traditional chiefs are kingmakers. Those that are kingmakers are the ones that are members of Olota in council. When I came, when I became the Olota of Olota, 5 kingmakers were left out of 12. So I filled the old 12, and I also appointed 2 women into Olota in council, making it 14. So today we have 14 members of Olota in council. Again, these Olota in council, the body is the supreme authority when it comes to chieftaincy and traditional issues in Olota. But having said that, Olota has the last say. So whatever decision that is made by Olota in council, in which Olota himself is also a member, after deliberations left and right, it is Olota's pronouncement that is supreme. Though it doesn't really sound democratic, but that is our culture. But again, that is why kingmakers need to think wisely And after consulting the FA to look at it and see, they choose the right people. Because our culture, unlike the Western culture, when it comes to decision making within our traditional institutions, doesn't really have that democratic values. Because when you look at a situation when 14 people sat down or 15 people sat down and deliberated on issues, you expect that you put it to vote and the majority carry but it doesn't really happen like that in traditional institutions, because it is what the king says that matters.
That is the final. Hallelujah. Now, you've talked about the Olota in council, and we also understand that we have some of the members of the council that are kingmakers and others are not. Recent developments in Olota, maybe as a result of the size or expansion, 4 of the principal high chiefs in Olota were promoted to coronet obas, the quarter chiefs specifically. Now, these quarter chiefs, these coronet obas, what complementary roles are they also playing in the administration that Your Highness supervises?
Yes, they do play complementary role, in the sense that before issues come before Olota himself, these quarter kings will have looked at it. If it's something that they will be able to make pronouncement on, and in which they will be able to resolve, fine. But it is when they feel that they won't be able to resolve it, or they are unable to resolve it, then that is when they will now bring it before, or take it down before Olota. So even when they were quarter chiefs, that is the role they have been playing. Within their own quarters, if there are issues, they will look at it. They have been looking after their own quarters. So it is when they feel that these issues, they cannot deal with it, or they feel that it is exclusively for Olota, that is when they will bring it down. So they have been able to help Olota a lot. So their role is very important in the traditional setup. So it is not new. What they are doing now is not new. They have been doing it before. But certain things, emerge because Ota is a confederate. Okay. In the sense that all these members of Olota in council were nominated from their quarters, except the 2 women that are added to Olota in council. So most of these chiefs are nominated either from Ijano quarters or from Oruba, to represent those quarters in Olota in council. Okay. So that you see that they represent the whole of Ota, except the 2 women added by Olota himself, which is within my own prerogative. And again, I believe we should have the voices of women within the Olota in council, because our society is changing. And before, yes, it used to be men's, but now I believe we should also have voices that will be speaking for the women in Olota in Council. That is why I added the two. So to a great extent, the four Kota kings are really, really doing well. They are helping, and they've made my job as Olota, they've made it easy.
Yes, Alailo, thank you so much for the analysis of the structure of Ota Kingdom administrative setup. Now, let's look at some of the culture and tradition of Ota. Ota is an Awori kingdom, and I want to believe that with a different Yoruba subcultural entity, there will definitely be some uniqueness to them in Ota, which is an Awori kingdom. What are the unique cultural activities that are very common with Awori people of Ota?
Ota is one of the earliest Yoruba kingdom. And when you look at Ota, one of our major festival is Egungun festival. We love Egungun masquerade so much that is one thing I consider that unite all of us here in Ota, both Christians and Muslims and the pagans. We love our Egungun festival. And it doesn't hold yearly. It holds maybe every 4 years or 3 years. Because it's something that costs also much in terms of financial responsibilities and other traditional rights as well. So then we do have Oro as well. Gone are the days that sometimes we have to allow Oro to come out during the day. But today, Ota is a city. And indeed, it's an industrial hub where we have so many people, not even Awori people, that are here working. And as a result of that, we have to take into consideration their interest as well. And that is why we only allow Oro to come out at night. And if Oro wants to come out, we will have made it known to people through the social media and traditional media as well. So in order not to let anybody fall victim to Oro, because it's one of the powerful cultural activities we have here in Ota. We also have others like Gelede and some other ones that are not very popular, but those ones are really, really popular. And they are also popular in some other Awori towns and Yoruba towns as well. So we love our culture and we respect our culture. So, and Olota is one of the few Yoruba towns and cities that we still practice our culture. And then we believe in all these smaller gods. And that is why, even historically, when you talk about Awon Iya, their headquarters is here in Olota. And I will give you just a tip of the iceberg when they say, Oburuju Aje Olota lo.
So the Ajes are the Awon Iya that you mentioned earlier on.
Yeah.
Okay. You are still watching the royalty live from OGTV, and I've been speaking with Alailua Oba Professor Abdul Kabir Adeyemi Obalanlege, the Olota of Olota. Welcome back. The royalty continues, and I still have Kabesi. I am with the Kabesi in the palace. I won't say I have the Kabesi with me. I am with the Kabesi in the palace, and we'll be looking at other issues in the second half of the program. Kabesi, I know it's been a few minutes talking about a little bit of the history and the culture and all of that. But let's look at the social life of Olota as it affects the palace. Yes, you have earlier on led us into the fact that ascension to the kingship, you are no more as free as you usually would like to. But I want to believe that within the community here, you will have a way of also socializing with the people. What are the programs do you also have with the people that bring the entertainment and social aspects of your administration out?
Every 15 days, we call it Ose. We have the Bedu drummers. They are the one to wake me up. They will come in around 6. So between 6 and 7, they will start beating their drums, just to remind me that it's Ose Day. And normally what I'll do is I'll come down, go out there, dance to the Bedu drums, talk to them, appease to the gods, then before going back inside. And these Bedu drums, we always be upright, is always kept in the palace. But, according to our culture, if Kabiyesi joins his ancestors, they will no longer beat the drums, and they will turn the drum upside down until another Kabiyesi is installed. But as long as Kabiyesi is alive, the Bedu drums will continue to beat, to sound every 15 days. That is part of our culture. And you see people, coming around the palace to see Kabiyesi dancing to Bedu drums. Again, there are other things that interfaces Kabiyesi with the community. If we are installing new ships, people will come around. And again, we do have some festivals like Itaoba Festival, which comes up every second day of Ileya, where all the sons and daughters of Ota, and some as far as other Awori towns and villages, will come around to felicitate with Kabiesi, to pay homage to Kabiesi. We also have a Gomode festival every December. This year's Igomode Day will come up on the 18th of December. And we have many sponsors and a lot of sons and daughters from Ota and other Awori towns and cities will come around to pay homage to Olota. And at the same time, is a kind of gathering that brings families, friends together. Because it's not just sons and daughters of Ota and Awori. Those ones coming will also come from come with their friends from other tribes. And this helps in our social life in Ota. It helps a lot. And it also helps. It's also helping our economic development, because people, especially the small entrepreneurs, they'll be able to sell most of their wares. Those selling drinks and different things, that is when they are happy, in the sense that they will sell more. And we have many of these that are not even as big as a Gomode festival, but from time to time, even at weekends, our social life is very active.
Kabisi Alaiwa, you earlier on mentioned that your kingdom love Egungun, and that is one that unites everybody together. The trend around the world now is to see culture as a form of tourism for economic gains. Is Kabisi looking in the direction of possibly making Egungun one of such? Like you have Osun Osogbo, you see people coming all over the world. Now Olojo Festival, we also have some other ones. And by the number of people that attend Egungun Festival, one should think that it should also be something that should be economically viable. Is Kabisi looking in that direction, and how do you intend to possibly achieve that?
Of course, we are exploring these areas, and since I came onto the throne of my forebearers, we had one, and Ota was completely, overwhelmed with people. Different people from all parts of the world came for the last Egungun festival.
Alailo, now that we are aware that you are also making efforts to brand Egungun for economic gains, going by the way people in your community have seen it. Now, as an ancient community, do we have some places of historical importance, like monuments and all of that, that are unique here that we can talk about?
Oh yeah, we have so many of it. The Ijamido water is there.
Okay.
With Ijamido water, we believe that we can pray with it, And if we pray with it, all our prayers will come to pass.
Okay.
And we also believe that we can also use it in some other ways as well. And it will also come to pass. Again, we have the second story building here in Olota, where Bishop Ajayi Crowder translated the Bible from English to Yoruba. Even we have the where even within the site, one of the wives of the missionaries, was buried at that site, and some other monuments, because immediately the missionaries left Badagry, they came to Olota. They settled in Olota for a while before they moved to Abeokuta. So Olota is an ancient and historic city. We also have some other monuments that we are working with Awori Tourism, so that we can develop it to a full historical and tourism site. We also have the tomb of some of the past kings. We have some right here at the palace, and we have some in other places as well. So many things that are linked with Olota past that we could showcase to the world. Like I said before, we are working with Awori Tourism, and the chief executive of Awori Tourism, Prince Fadino, is also doing a great work. So by the time we come out to showcase this, I'm sure the whole world will be shocked that so we have all this here in Olota.
I have two-in-one question that I want to ask now as we begin to round off gradually. I don't know how you react to this general belief that Aworis are land grabbers or land sellers and all of that. That is one. The second leg of it is that Olota, where is your kingdom, is next to Lagos State. And so many of what happens in Lagos, Olota is always at the receiving end and all of that. What other challenges are those, the closeness to Lagos is bringing to your kingdom, and how do you intend to address it?
We'd like to correct the erroneous belief that Aworis are land grabbers. No. That is not true. Because it's in Awori land, or because it happened in Awori land, doesn't mean that the Aworis are land grabbers. Most of the issues that I resolve in this palace borders on land. But you find out that most of these people that are involved, most of the people that are at fault are not Aworis themselves. Just this morning, while you were here, I was trying, I did resolve an issue. And this man, this land was sold to an Ijebu man. And this Ijebu man sold it to another Awori man. So, by the time this Awori man was ready to work on the 4 plots of land, the Ijebu man had sold it to somebody else.
That person.
So, but because it's happened in Awori land doesn't mean that the Aworis are the one perpetrating all these fraud. No. It depends. I'm not saying Awori people are not involved. Yeah, they are, but they are not the major player. So, and I have my facts and figures. Again, when you look at our proximity to Lagos, several times we've had different schemes, from the government. There was a time that during the Governor Amosu's era, we had this mega city concept between Lagos and Ogun, but it never materialized. Again, now we have, during the present administration of Governor Dapo Abiodun MFR and Governor Sanwo-Olu, recently a commission was set up. That's Lagos Ogun Commission. I hope the commission will be able to put smiles on our faces, in the sense that they will be able to look at issues affecting the border areas and maybe solve most of these problems. Because when you look at these border areas, there is crime, because somebody can easily commit crime in Lagos and now come to Ogun. And once they are in Ogun, it may be difficult for the police in Lagos to apprehend such criminal-minded people. All these things, I believe, the commission will be able to address, especially crime. And that is why earlier I told you that one of our major challenges is crime. So we have so many challenges, but the major one is crime. And when people will not like to live in crime areas, we are not saying there shouldn't be crime, but it should be reduced to the minimum level. So, but what are the things that could reduce crime to minimum level? So that is why we are talking about good roads. Because if there are issues, or if there is, a crime going on in a particular area, if there are no good roads, how will the law enforcement agents get to that scene on time? So these are the challenges we are talking about.
Kabezi, rounding off this program, I would like Kabezi to pass a message to his subjects, so that at least whenever they are watching this program, they know that they have a special message of assurances of hope from Alailua.
I want to reassure you that by God's grace, things will get better. We may be experiencing some challenges facing us, but I want to assure you that I am equally addressing those challenges and hope in near future we'll be able to resolve it and things can only get better.
I've been interacting with Alailua Kabesi, Olota Ofota, Oba Professor Abdul Kabir Adeyemi Obalanlege. The program is royalty, the royalty, and we have heard it from the royals too, how it feels as a king in Yoruba land and in a city that is also fairly large. And I'm very sure one or two things will have been learnt from our interaction with Alailua, the Olota Ofota of the program today. Next week we shall be bringing you another king that we will be interacting with looking at issues of traditional administration in another community. Until then, I leave you in the hands of Almighty God. Bye-bye.